And welcome back. Election years are always the most interesting years to try to handicap. And in this past week, we had Governor Hogan float a trial balloon regarding a possible Senate challenge to Chris Van Hollen. And we also saw former Lieutenant Governor and now political commentator Michael Steele drop out of the race for governor. Mark, since this involves your party, what do you make of these two rather disparate events?
Well, I would love to see Larry Hogan, Governor Hogan, run for the Senate. I think he'd be a formidable candidate. I know that he has struggled a little bit with that decision because he has, as he's indicated, that he's not interested in being a legislator. He loves being governor, and has something a lot of governors seem to have. On the other hand, he's term limited, and so maybe being a senator was more attractive than going back to his real estate business. As for Michael,
do you have any polling on that, Mark?
Sorry?
Do you have any polling on?
I am sure that the National Senate Campaign Committee is showing Governor Hogan some polling that brings him at least competitive. I don't know that he's ahead, but at least competitive in the race. And as thus far, there really isn't any Republican challenger to Van Hollen.
Well, I think that's pretty fascinating. Obviously the governor has won 2 statewide elections, but to win a Senate race would be quite a feat for a Republican here in Montgomery, in Maryland. As
for Michael Steele, I don't think he ever was seriously considering running for governor. I think if the tell is there, it is the fact that he never bothered to set up an exploratory committee, so he could never do any polling to find out whether he would do well in a Republican primary, which, given that he endorsed Biden, and could be a question mark, and instead set up a federal committee, a 527. We don't know how much he raised for that, whatever. Big difference is that state campaign funds can't be used for personal purposes. 527s don't quite have the same sets of restrictions as to how they use. So I'll let people draw their own conclusions on that.
Well, I've known Michael a long time. I was surprised that he was even thinking about running for governor. But
if I could just say, I was kind of shocked. I think he would have had a good chance of winning the gubernatorial race. We'll see what happens on the Democratic side,
sure.
But depending on who makes it, it's going to be an interesting year. And the thing about Hogan, I don't know if he's going to pursue it or not. I mean, it would break a lot of people's hearts in Montgomery County if we really had to go through a big campaign for Chris, because as you know, he's quite beloved here. But Hogan needs a job, and he's well liked.
Well,
I don't, but I have to say, I used to be mayor of a little town of Garrett Park, and for just a couple of years, and I was in the council for 16, and I have to tell you, it's much better being mayor.
Much better being mayor.
It's better to be king, right?
Absolutely, even if it's a tiny little community. But and I think that's the trouble that any governor has going to Congress.
Well, so Nancy, now that we've talked about the state race, the two state race, what's your observations about what's going to happen with the council and the county executive races this coming year?
Lord knows. I think Mark Elrich has a big advantage as incumbent. It's going to be an uphill battle for him to lose that job. And I don't think anyone knows anything about the county council enough to even care or to get engaged in that. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, can Hucker and Reimer cut into Mark's base? I mean, that's really...
Well, basically, it's 3 people from Tacoma Park running against each other. Tom doesn't technically live in Tacoma Park, but he's right there. So their base is the same, and maybe Blair can go up the middle. I'd hope so, but we'll see.
Well, Blair's been pretty quiet. I'm surprised that he's been so quiet, at least.
Well, people need to pay attention, and we're getting to that point where people become interested in it all. And that's when it's worthwhile spending the money and getting engaged.
Well, that, and that takes us to where we have to wrap this segment. And it also cues us up for what's going to happen in the year ahead, because anyone who wants to observe politics in Montgomery County needs to watch this show on a weekly basis.